Now, in Nigeria, Senator Ned Nwoko is pushing for the creation of a new state called Anioma. The proposed state will be carved out of the current Delta state. The senator argues that this move is necessary to correct a historical imbalance. He points out that the southeast geopolitical zone currently has only 5 states, while the other zones have at least 6. Placing Anioma in the southeast would help balance representation, the National Assembly and federal resource allocation. Senator Nwoko emphasized that the people of the Delta North region are culturally and linguistically Igbo. He says the creation of Anioma State would affirm this identity and recognize the area's significant economic contributions, including oil and gas reserves. A bill to amend the Constitution and create the new state is currently before the Senate. And of course, former Speaker of Delta State House of Assembly, Olisa Imegwu, joins us now for a conversation about the clamor for Anioma State, environmental degradation, especially in areas that produce oil, and underdeveloped and Delta politics in general. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, the call for Anioma State has been, gaining ground recently, and the balancing of regional equation towards the southeast. How justifiable is this call?
Oh, the call is very justifiable. From 1950s, decade of 1950 to date, the people of Anioma State have been crying for creation of a state of their own, at least for the right of self-determination. And each time, the cry has been overlooked. Well, maybe I would say because of the lack of leadership, coordination, organization, that had mooted the move until lately when Senator Ned Nwoko, whom I call mafioso, dogged fighter, took up the lead. Most of us that have different views about the creation of this Anioma State, where it belongs, have become disciples and a believer for the right to create an Anioma State for us.
Very good. Now, how is Delta State as a regional entity open to the idea that Anioma State will be carved out of its own immediate domain and given to the southeast? What is the state government and, of course, the people, other tribes in Delta, are they open to that idea? What's the response been so far?
Well, I will begin the conversation this way. The creation of Anioma State is something, it's not beholden to any particular individual leader. It's something that is good for the sake of development, spread. I have refused to succumb to the Igbotic stigma and blackmail and archaic loyalty that many of our good men have succumbed to become victims of the agitation to create a state. Creating an Anioma State in Delta State is what everybody wants, except the enemies of progress. Initially, in fact, I had wanted, my first preference initially was to create an Ndokwa state. Second preference was to create an Anioma State from the 9 local governments that make up Delta North and Delta State. But I saw that to be a toilsome vanity. To create a state today in Nigeria must fit into what we call environment, socio-cultural, political environment of competitive demands and interests. If you decide to say you don't want an Anioma State to be created, either in the southeast region, can you show me objectively, comparatively, the evidence you have to win what you want in a competitive democratic environment? So What matters does not matter what Delta State thinks alone, or what an individual thinks alone. It's what you need to get a state created. And you square that to the issue of fairness, justice, and equity. If anybody in Delta State or a state says it doesn't want the creation of an Anioma state, and if that is the only state to be created, I will begin to wonder if the person truly believes in one Nigeria and giving the Southeast a sense of belonging as a nation. Mm-hmm. In the whole of the country today, all the regions have 6 states each. I think one of the regions, Northwest, has 7 states. Mm-hmm. Only the Southeast have 5 states. Now, if one state is going to be created, that state cannot be created, and the Nigerians, the other 34 states or 35 states, assuming a state says no, will accept to increase the number of states in a region already having a fair share of its size of states. Mm. But to create it in Southeast region, fairness, equity, and justice demands that Nigerians will support it, not a state. The imbalance, if a state is going to be created, I don't see how the presidency, the National Assembly members, particularly the senators, will decide not to create that one state in the Southeast to balance the to balance the equilibrium of state creation. All right. So I don't look at the issue of what Delta State government or an individual will be thinking. I'm looking at what the generality of Nigerians will think in the area of fairness and equity.
All right, in the area of fairness and equity, but realistically, fine. Senator Walker has, is doing his bit, and of course, agitators in that realm as well. But what needs to change realistically for the emergence of Anioma State, you think?
Nothing else will need to be changed realistically other than the politics of creation of states in a elite representative democracy. Nothing needs to be changed. If, from what we have seen, published all over the place, 85 senators signed on for the creation of Anioma State to balance the disequilibrium in the whole Nigeria on the number of states created across the regions. If the presidency is aligned with these 85 senators on this matter, what we are going to be looking at is the objective success of creating these states. And the objective success in creating these states in an elite representative democracy shows that when you have 85 senators, you just have to say the Senate president who is presiding over that place, should be part of it. The presidency promised to support that equity, fairness. And the states of Nigeria, Nigerians of good faith, good men of honor and integrity have said it, that this imbalance in state creation does not augur well for Nigerian progress as a nation that gives all parts belonging to it a sense of belonging. So I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it in a quantifiable, objective way to get success, to succeed in getting the state created.
Indeed. And what about the people? There's a movement already right now. What about the people of the region? How are they also open to the idea of having their own state in this regard?
Oh yes. The movement, in fact, like I said, the movement with some chiefs, traditional rulers, some, in fact, People in the media also have helped to push this case. And the fact that the senator representing the senatorial district, he has our mandate. Senator Ned Nwoko has our mandate to represent Delta North Senatorial District. His doggedness, his mafioso fight to get this done, I mean, gets it over the board. And the only thing that matters now is they are advised that there are some pockets of resistance. Yeah. But that is not because they are not interested in creation of Anioma State. The propaganda machine, the campaign, the strategy to spread this campaign to reach those particular groups has not been widened properly.
All right.